And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus on this Wednesday, February 19th, 1:06 in the afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki, along with our Ag Director, Bridgette Readel. She is on location today, and if you're watching our live stream, I'm guessing, is she inside of a tractor, or it's hard to tell from this angle? Huh, where are you at, Bridgette?
Actually, I am in Grand Forks. I'm at the Alara Center. Today is the International Crop Expo, and the folks from Butler Equipment were kind enough to let me use one of their pieces of equipment today. This is a Fendt 900 series Rogator, and this is a fantastic machine. I'm looking out the sides here. I can see the carbon fiber booms, which are the aluminum booms, which means they're really lightweight for moving up and down. We've probably got 120 feet of booms on this machine. We have a 1,000-gallon spray tank behind us. We have the ability to go from a standard clearance to a high clearance with this sprayer, so we can do that in about 45 seconds. And if you needed to swap over from a dry to a liquid machine, you can do that in under 2 hours. Those are just some of the statistics that go with this particular sprayer, and it's pretty nice to be able to use this as a radio studio today.
Nice.
Yeah.
How's the crowd expected? What kind of crowd turnout are they expecting?
Actually, crowd's been pretty good so far this morning. I think in the cold weather, we're all looking for indoor things to do, so it's not surprising. We've seen a few FFA members here. I'm glad I brought my jacket with for National FFA Week. And folks are kind of kicking the tires and just looking at a number of different items. I see booths in front of me, anywhere from Fultz Buildings, which we've worked with Fultz before, True North Steel with looking at pipe you might be using if you're doing underground work and more, all the way to tools and whatever else you might want to pick up on your way out the door. So lots going on here today, and multiple speakers, with the focus being on soybeans, wheat, and potatoes. We have seen and heard a number of breakout sessions specializing in those particular areas, hosting folks from industry experts, folks like NDSU Extension as well. So there's plenty of things to see and do here today and tomorrow at the Alara Center.
Good. Well, and it's a good thing, that the cold isn't keeping people away, because, boy, it is cold. And it's actually a little warmer up in Grand Forks than it is through the rest of the area. Not by much, a few degrees, but we're looking at, you're really not going to notice it. But currently temperatures single digits either side of zero. Some high clouds throughout the area. And just another nasty day out there. 0 to 5 above across much of the area with a northwest wind about 5 to 10. Clear and cold tonight, but not as cold as it has been. Only 10 to 15 below tonight with light northwest winds, and plenty of sunshine Thursday. Light winds will turn to the southeast. We'll have highs pretty close to 10 above, and then Friday it does turn windy out of the southwest, gusting up to 30 and highs around 20. Clouds come back over the weekend, but boy, does it warm up nicely. Low 30s on Saturday and near 40 on Sunday. A couple of weak clipper systems could bring us a few sprinkles Sunday night into Monday, with temperatures all next week remaining at or above normal, mainly above normal. Normal highs next week, mid to upper 20s, and we're looking at upper 20s to mid 30s for much of next week. So a nice reprieve from the 2.5-week stretch of Arctic air that's been locked over the area. So it will feel, I'd say it'll feel like spring to many as we head into the weekend.
Oh, I think we're going to start to look forward to that. Especially if we continue to have some sunshine, that just is going to feel so much better. I did hear someone this morning at this show here at the Alara say, well, at least it hasn't been terribly windy, because it's going to be warmer on the weekend, but a lot of windy.
Yeah, a little bit.
A lot of wind we should worry about.
Well, especially Friday, and as these clipper systems move closer, I don't think Saturday will be too windy. Sunday will probably pick up the breeze quite a bit out ahead of that clipper system, but it'll be a warm south breeze.
Yay for us to get that much.
Yeah, I mean, we'll take every little bit we can get. And this cold weather goes all the way down to the Gulf Coast, where they're setting records down there. So no records being set up here, but all the way down to the Gulf Coast, kind of similar to when they had the big snow in New Orleans and right along the coast there. They're not expecting any snow this time around, but they definitely are getting another shot of Arctic air all the way down to the Gulf. I'm ready for spring.
Well, you would think so, but if for those who didn't have frozen pipes before, it looks like here's your second chance to get that to happen. Because once we get into some of those areas, as we talked about with producers from Arkansas and South, they're just not prepared for it, which is terribly unfortunate, but just not their part of their regular lifestyle, you might say.
Yeah, no doubt.
We'll see what things look like for them. But this weather update is sponsored by Ryan Bonsack. He is Equitable Agri Finance, helping farmers restructure balance sheets and, of course, providing working capital. Wants to work with you, whether it's your farm and your ranch. You are happy to find a solid reference with him. You have great knowledge coming from Ryan. He just does a lovely job in working with people. And you can call him at 701-261-6529. Equitable Agri Finance. So again, big thank you to Butler Equipment for letting me use their Rogator today.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's been sort of fun to be able to crawl all over this and get some pictures and video. I sent some to Addison. If he has those ready, you're seeing a picture now of exactly what it is that I'm in. That's the machine with the 1,000-gallon tank, and it's really cute, bright red wheels. And then if you look further back, you can see the tank and probably the booms, etc. So it's a great machine, and if you are interested in talking about sprayers, this is one to check out.
Bridgette, don't break anything. You don't want to have to buy that.
They did ask me if I wanted the keys to start it, but I thought, well, we're indoors. I'll wait.
Yeah, just wait.
Yeah.
Well, we have Al. Al's on line one. You've got a question for us, Al. What's going on?
Yeah, for both you, for Dean and Bridgette. So just off Grand Forks, they don't have like any snow up here, but how can there be so much soil erosion when the grounds are so froze solid? There's nothing but dirt up here. The little bit of snow is just covered with inches of dirt. How did the dirt blow around when it's all frozen?
Okay, so Dean, do you want to start that, or you want me to start it?
You could start it if you'd like.
Okay, so Al, the thing to think about is it's not very deep. This is surface that would still be able to blow. It's kind of like, being able to go out and kick over some snow that's just laying on the soil surface. When we were joined by Craig LaPlante, who was with Minnesota Soil Health Coalition, he talked about even just the depth of a sheet of paper and how much material that would move and the dollars it would be associated with. So even if we're seeing that soil that's blown into the ditches, it's not been very deep that's done it, in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and part of it was because we didn't have a very wet fall leading up to the cold weather, so a lot there was still that kind of a loose part of the topsoil, if you will, that was that didn't get enough cover over it with snowfall, so that didn't help either.
Okay, good, cool, thanks.
All right, no problem, Al. No problem. And yeah, there's been a few people that have asked, man, what's with all the dirt in the ditches that's on top of the snow? That's what it is, topsoil blowing off of the fields. And yeah, like you said, Bridgette, luckily it's not going that deep, so that's good news there.
Well, it's not, but we're still losing quite a bit. And when we have these open winters and we don't have any snow cover to prevent that from happening, we do get those ditches have the snert in them, the snow and dirt situation. And it's not a lot of fun. I know as farmers going by, they don't want to see that loss either.
Right.
Okay. Just got a photo from our guest who's going to be joining us today. So I just sent that over so we can use that. Oh, always a lot of things that we get to do during the show. Folks think we just talk, but the amount of photos and stuff that goes on in the background to keep guests up to speed is a lot.
and who is our guest today, Bridgette?
We're going to be joined by Jolene, and I hate to say this. I need Jolene to make sure she tells me her last name so I'm accurate. And I'm going to say it's Konechne, but I'm not sure if I said that right. And Jolene is joining us out of South Dakota. She has put together a mobile meat cutting lab for high school students to go between, I think it's 4 different public schools. And they talk about the art of butchering, the practice of it, trying to give useful tools for those who might be doing this in the future. And it's not just to be used as a judging contest for FFA or 4-H. There is a meat judging contest, but it's a life skill. So even if you decide that you're not going to be a butcher down the road, at least you know how to do it. But I think there's a lot of kids that I do have an interest in turning this into something more full time. So we're going to talk to Jolene when we have a chance, and she's got a picture of the unit, and I'm curious, how they got this set up and how they got the whole thing operational. Because mobile meat labs, how do you keep it clean? If you're taking it up and down the road, you just get to pressure wash that out. I have a lot of questions about it.
Hmm.
So we'll see what Jolene has to say. Before we do that, I did want to touch on the fact that um, the National Association of Farm Broadcasters has been working very diligently behind the scenes with legislators to continue to keep AM radio not only in tractors, farm equipment, but also in vehicles. There was some movement in 2022 to 23 that car manufacturers wanted to remove AM radios, particularly in EVs, because of the static that the cars cause with the radios. And the car manufacturers said they don't feel that AM radio is a safety need in a vehicle. Well, a lot of pushback has come from farm country. So many who are in tractors use those radios all the time in order to stay up to speed on weather, particularly if there's nasty weather or any other major events that could be affecting them. When you say, but you've all got a phone, people do. But we have coverage areas where there's no cellular phone service, and you need that in remote areas in order to stay up to speed on what might be happening in the greater world events around you. And also, I've actually traveled some areas of Montana where I couldn't hardly get a satellite signal, much less a cellular signal. AM radio still came through. So it's good to know that we still have the reliability of AM radio in our vehicles.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
No doubt.
we'll keep working on that. We don't want to see that go away, but legislation is pending for it. So one of the things you often hear on the radio is the market report. We're about to get that from the American Ag Network. So stay tuned for markets with Jesse Allen, and then we will return with our guest. And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Really glad that you're here today. And if you are here at the Alara Center for the International Crop Expo, feel free to swing by, give a wave. I've got room in the buddy seat if you want to join me here in the cab of this Fendt Rogator. I'm here in the Butler Equipment booth, hanging out in their machinery, and I really appreciate them letting me do that today. So apparently I got her name right. Our guest Jolene texted me and said, "You nailed it." But the big question is, can I do it twice? So, Dean, we're joined today by Jolene Konechne. Konechne? How did I do?
Konechne. Excellent.
Whew.
Good job.
All right. Oof. Okay. And I hate to do that because, your name is so important and too often they're mispronounced. So, Jolene, just Jolene, welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. How are you today?
Excellent. Thank you. Trying to stay warm.
Amen to that. Yes. All right. Tell us about the mobile meat lab. I got a text message from a friend in South Dakota who said, "You should really talk to this lady." So, where did you start? How did you decide? Are you just someone randomly off the street who thought, more people should know about meat processing? How should we do it?
So my job title, I work with the Huron School District, and part of my job is Director of Career and Tech Education. And we have a strong vision that we should empower students with equitable access to career exploration, just exposure, engagement, and experiences. And we've collaborated with 3 other school districts in the region close by for grant funding. So in 2023, Senator Wheeler from our district wrote Senate Bill 59, which provided $5 million of grant funding for school districts to collaborate and grow their CTE programs. We surveyed the students, juniors through down to 8th graders, to see what careers they were interested in, and if we offered XYZ classes, would they be interested in taking them? And meats processing was one of them. And so we collaborated with the superintendents of the districts, wrote the grant. The total grant was actually $1.516 million that we were awarded, but about $75,000 of that is the meats trailer itself.
$75,000 for a trailer.
And the equipment.
Okay, I was just going to say, what's in the trailer as far as equipment and so forth? What are students seeing when they get to this trailer?
So it would be like any industry would have. We've got a meat saw, we've got dehydrators, jerky cannons, grinders, commercial fridge and freezer, sinks, countertops. The cutlery is all industry grade. It's pretty amazing.
Okay. So our producer had a question, Jolene. He said his ears perked up when you said jerky cannon. Is this something you bring
Everybody's
out to Are you bringing this out to a football game and shooting jerky into the crowd? What is a jerky cannon?
I'm not exactly sure. That I'm learning along as we're doing this. So that was one of the pieces of equipment that I am excited to learn exactly how to use it and how to teach the kids to use it as well.
Okay, I'm going to take a stab at this. Now, we have very astute listeners, so they may be listening and say they'll quick call in, and they can do that at 701-293-9000. They can tell us the jerky cannon. I'm going to take a guess that it is probably the big tubes with a trigger on them that you can use to literally put the raw jerky mixture into and then use it to lay out the jerky. That's just my guess.
You're 100%. You're 100% correct, Bridgette.
Okay.
I just looked this up online just now, and that's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's like a meat caulking gun is what it looks like.
That's what it looks like.
Jolene, what 3 districts besides Huron are you working with?
Wolsey, Wessington, Hitchcock, Tulare, and Sanborn Central.
And how do you divvy this up? Does everybody get a certain amount of weeks with the trailer at their school, or does it move around on a daily basis?
Great question. So our goal is once we get our custom exempt licensure through the South Dakota Animal Industry Board, so we're going to be a licensed processing facility, not slaughter, but processing. Then starting next fall, each district will have the trailer in one spot, one location at their district for 9 weeks. And then it'll rotate from district to district. We laughed that we're just going to draw straws because everybody probably wants to fight over it during deer season.
That's a really good point. Suddenly, everybody has an interest in meat processing. Okay. So the trailer gonna go from school to school, get used. Um, who's in charge of maintenance of it? Does that also reflect back into some of the CTE programs where kids are doing some? Let's say we've got to do maintenance on the trailer. Will students be participating in that in addition to what they're doing with meat processing?
You're saying to like the actual trailer itself or the equipment or
Right.
just,
Yeah.
can
Is
you lab?
is somebody having to rewire, change tires, any of the mechanics on it, anything like that?
I have not thought that far ahead. Hopefully we don't have any of those problems.
Good. Good.
um, but we could certainly, our auto classes, that would certainly be something that they could certainly do.
And
Okay.
And Jolene, what has been the response from some of the students that have had a chance to view this?
So they haven't, well, the trailer's been outside a few times. We've put it, all the districts have put it on Facebook. The picture that you just saw, actually Dakota Provisions here in Huron is our exclusive sponsor for our egg program. And they wrapped the trailer in their logo. And then we also put on the 4 district logo. So when we're going down the road and I'm transporting it from district to district, people know, hey, whoa, what's a high school mobile meats lab? Like,
Yeah.
why are there kids, cutting meat? And so it just elicits a lot of curiosity and questions. So that it's exciting.
It's very exciting. So, all right, Jolene, we're creeping up to the bottom of the hour here where we want to hit on some news stories. But when we come back, I have a list of questions for you. Things like you said that's not slaughter, just processing. So we're going to need to know where's the meat coming in from, as you mentioned, even during deer season. Where does the meat go? Does everybody just take it across the hall to the home ec class and cook it up for lunch? And you also mentioned the term CTE. And I would venture a guess not all of our listeners are aware of what CTE stands for in the world of education. So let's touch on all of those things when we return after our news break. And welcome back to Weather and Egg in Focus. We're talking all about mobile meat lab. Although I would say Addison's a little disappointed yet that he found out that that jerky cannon is just to make beef jerky, not to shoot it into crowds at parades. So there goes our next fun event for WDAY radio. All right, our guest today is Jolene Konechne. I keep trying. I'm gonna keep trying to get it right for you, Jolene. All right, she is in the Huron, South Dakota Public School District. We were talking about CTEs, and that leads to our discussion about a mobile meat lab today. Can you tell us in the education realm what's a CTE?
It is career and technical education. Back in the 70s, it was vocational education. So helping students understand what careers are out there, helping them know what they don't know, careers we don't even know that exist, then prepare for those to be good citizens and hopefully find them something that they are passionate about.
So what falls under CTEs? Because you said that the schools each get the lab for about a 9-week period, but there's so much more than that as far as areas of study. Can you give some examples of them?
Yeah, so another really cool part of the Senate Bill 59 is we're adding a STEM program, and we're teaching aviation, fundamentals of aviation, and we will have a full-sized Redbird FMX simulator of a Cessna 170, where it will actually feel like you're in a Cessna 170 and learn how to fly. And learn about careers in aviation. We'll also have some desktop simulators and some drones that go along with that class. We're adding a diesel technology class. We're adding some machine tool technology courses that we already have, culinary arts, a lot of family and consumer science, intro to education. We have a lot of IT, business, finance classes. We have welding, our ag classes. We have some health career classes, such as Intro to Emergency Medical Services, Gateway to Certified Nursing Assistant. So it covers the whole spectrum of anything that you want to do within industry and careers. Will help you learn the skills to take the next step, whether it be directly into workforce, whether it be an apprenticeship, whether it's vocational school, or whether it's into college.
Oh man. And so many of those are just hands-on skills that we have to backfill jobs in the future. So the fact that kids are picking up those bits of information now and learning what they want to do in the future is tremendous. So as we've been saying, one of the areas of focus is meat cutting. And as many of us would call them, the butcher. If you ever watched the Brady Bunch, Sam the Butcher, he was Alice's favorite guy, and he had great skills. So when you would go to a butcher shop, first of all, some butchers will actually start the process from start to finish. And by that, I mean that they're actually doing the slaughter as well as the rest of the processing. But students aren't doing that step, you said, Jolene. So can you explain where they're going to start or how they're going to source that product?
Great question. So we have wonderful industry partners, and we're always looking for more collaboration and partnerships. So Tulare Country Meats, Nathan Gensler is the owner and operator of that, and he wrote a wonderful letter of support and is excited to help. We'll be able to go. I believe he's able to slaughter in his facility, and then there's a possibility that we'll be able to purchase meat from him. I'm working with Ken Shafros out of Wall Meats in Rapids City and Wall, South Dakota. And we are some great beginnings there, some donations of some halves and quarters of beef and allowing the students to cut those. So both of those are South Dakota Animal Industry Board licensed, and Wall Meats is actually federally inspected as well. So we can go to Walmart and we can get the meat. We can have a farmer or a rancher take their animal to a slaughter facility and have them then donate it to the district. There's lots of options and opportunities that I'm learning as I continue to work with the Dr. Anderson at the South Dakota Animal Industry Board.
Okay, so we've gotten the meat. We brought it, whether the animal, like you said, there was a slaughter happened, meat comes in, the kids are processing in the mobile meats lab. And maybe I shouldn't say kids, but students, right? They're working on all their techniques of different cuts, probably making sausages, that type of thing. Am I following the trajectory here correctly, Jolene?
Absolutely.
Okay. So now you have finished product. And does that go to the cafeteria? Is everybody over in what I would call the home ec class cooking it up? Uh, what's going on after we get done at the end?
So it depends on the district, and each district will have their own thing that they are able to do. For Huron, my long-term goal is to be able to provide hamburger for the farm. I think it's the farm to school program for our nutrition program.
Mhm.
And so our students can have a hand in that. I believe we're able to do that and capable to do that with the license that we'll be getting. I have a few more questions. If it's an animal that has that a someone an individual has donated, then that meat will go back to them. If it's something that we have purchased or has been donated by Mr. Shafaros, then our goal would be to work with the culinary class because they will be joining as well. Their teachers will be going through the same training that our ag teachers will be going through to learn how to best utilize the trailer, how to use all of the equipment, all of those things. So it's going to be a collective effort.
Oh, that's a great point. If you're doing culinary arts in the same situation, it's double utilization of that asset that you have for the CTE programs. That's awesome.
Two birds with one stone.
Additionally, there you go. So additionally, this may sound a little crazy, but who's in charge of the cleanliness? Because if you think about processing plants, even small butcher shops, if you need to be USDA inspected, you have to have someone on site for that. You've got to pass all certain inspections. Will it be the teacher's responsibility to make sure that all the cleanliness is taken care of in the trailer, etc.? Or is there kind of a rules that go along with that?
So my vision is that the teachers will be the overall manager of the trailer. We will have standard operating procedures on how we hook up water, how we clean it out. So we have a pressure washer that we will have to wash and sanitize all of the machines and the trailer the whole time, after every use of the trailer in order to maintain our licensure. We actually worked with Extreme Trailer Sales out of Mandan, I believe, and
Okay.
they have helped create meats trailers in North Dakota. And so I was able to work with them, and they knew all the ins and outs of, well, we need to have this and we need to have that, and the channeling around the outside needs to be this and this. And so they've really refined the process and made it very simple for me, not knowing anything about a mobile meats processing lab, and we're great to work with. So I think we have everything hopefully ready to go.
Okay. So this might sound unusual. Is there anything that the students can't process? I mean, I heard you mention deer season, which that's a big deal. Butcher shops get very busy during deer season. And I would speculate certainly beef, but if our kids going to be doing pork, chicken, what about other types of wildlife? And the reason I think of that, as a high school kid, my ag teacher was very active in, he had a job as a butcher in college, right? He worked for a meat cutter, and he taught us all how to butcher. And we had a local farmer who shot a moose and brought it to us to process, which I don't know if I'd recommend that. We were pretty much a bunch of wild people with knives, but does it matter what proteins that the students will be working with, or are you looking for everything to happen, Jolene?
Ideally, I'd like to, have it open-ended. I have those questions into the state because I believe there's certain requirements that we have to follow in order to be licensed. So I want to make sure that I stick within those parameters. But, Dakota Provisions is our egg exclusive sponsor. And so to be able to see poultry, we're able to visit their facility, which is a couple miles down the road.
Wow. There's so many good ideas here for that kids could be doing. Um, I just, you mentioned the, introductory classes as part of your CTE group that even had to do with healthcare. So I guess if anybody is not careful with the knives, there's another group in the CTE classes that can be helpful, right? First aid. So be safe out there.
Oh, I hope everybody will be able to pass the OSHA training prior to going into the trailer. So,
I hope so too. And will you have a curriculum built, or will teachers each need to come up with their own plans when the trailer arrives for their particular 9 weeks?
so we're working with Dan Spellerberg out of North Dakota, who has several of these trailers in place, and he will help us in we have our South Dakota standards for the class, but he will help guide us in how to best teach those standards and in which order to be most efficient and effective in the small amount of time that we have in each district.
Wow. This is going to be a lot of fun. I look forward to hearing more as kids get involved in the things that they're doing with it. So, Jolene, if you have those who are listening who want to follow your story or maybe have some help or advice that they could offer, how can they reach out to you?
Absolutely. My email address is Jolene, Jolene, Konechne, Konechne, at K12.SD for South Dakota.us.
Jolene, thank you. It's always fun to hear what's going on for
Absolutely.
students and youth, especially this week, right? We're doing a lot to celebrate students all across North Dakota and the U.S., so thanks for being a part of it.
Yes, February's CTE month, so glad to help celebrate.
Awesome. All right, folks. Well, we want to come back and hit some headlines. Dean's going to wrap up the weather because it's not going to be cold forever anymore. There's an end in sight. I'm looking forward to that part. So stay tuned. We will do that momentarily.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Is that on the live stream right now? If you're So Addison, our producer, he works diligently behind the scenes, and well, he made it
Very creative.
He's he made up his own meat cannon or jerky cannon for our thumbnail for our show today. Addison, you are a very talented individual.
I try.
That takes some hard work.
I try.
Oh, lovely. Lovely. Well, we could use that cannon to shoot the cold air back up into Canada, too, because we're looking at much nicer weather as we head into the weekend. Now, nicer in terms of what we've had over the last 2.5 weeks. We're finally going to warm things up as we head towards the weekend. We still have a couple of cold days to get through. We'll be down into the teens below tonight. We're still in the single digits tomorrow, but 20 on Friday. Now, it's not going to feel that much warmer because we're going to have pretty strong winds out of the southwest on Friday. But the weekend does look a little bit nicer, although there's going to be a lot of clouds. I wish I could say there's going to be quite a bit of sunshine, but it doesn't look like it. But temperatures will respond. Lower 30s on Saturday and near 40 on Sunday. A couple of clipper systems could bring us a few light sprinkles late Sunday into Monday. But even next week, we're looking at temperatures above normal. Normal highs for next week are in the mid to upper 20s, and we're looking at upper 20s to mid 30s. So we're finally seeing a break from the Arctic cold. And again, we're in that phase 2 of the LRC cycle, which what that is that's a northwest flow instead of a due north flow out of Canada. And that flow will bring in numerous clippers, and we warm it up. It's basically a warmer than normal pattern, and that's what we're going to see about for the next 2.5 weeks before we go back to phase 1, which is the stormy part of the LRC cycle around mid-March. And by then, it's about a 60 to 70% chance that the storm track that was down to our south this last go-around in the Central Plains and even down to the Gulf Coast, that will lift further north. So I think from mid-March to about April 7th through the 10th, we're going to see stormier than normal conditions enter our area. So winter's not done, but I don't foresee a long stretch of that 2-week or 2.5-week Arctic cold. I think that's, after this is out of here, we're done with that long stretch of cold air. So I think everybody could be happy about that.
Well, winter is definitely not done, but for a moment there, I thought I was having an earthquake because somebody is leaning against the booms on this sprayer, and every so often the whole thing moves.
Oh.
So if y'all see me jumping around a little bit on the live stream, it's because the whole machine is moving. I don't know what they're doing back there, but for a minute it kind of took me by surprise. But we bypassed the cold air. We went right to an earthquake. So we focused so much this week on talking about youth, and that's probably our greatest asset in this state is the youth that we have. Well, tomorrow I didn't necessarily have a guest lined up, and then the pieces just fell into place, and we're going to continue that youthful focus. The kids out at the Kensal Public School in Kensal, North Dakota, have been spending an entire year where every month they're focusing on a different crop. So, for instance, April's going to be soybeans. They've had wheat, they've had corn, and a number of other things. Well, they asked to join us tomorrow to talk about their year and what they've been featuring, how they've been interacting with the community, and just learning. And this is a group that actually did not do a traditional Christmas concert this year in order for them to raise a little bit of money and then raise awareness about agriculture. So we're going to be talking with the instructor and a couple of students from the Kensal Public School tomorrow about their year in agriculture. So looking forward to visiting with them. I thought that was a great project.
That's cool. How old are the
never
kids?
Know what. This is the entire school is participating.
Okay.
So there are activities targeted all the way from kindergarten through high school. So we're going to have great questions for them, asking about some of the things that they've been doing to just spread ag throughout the year instead of doing it just focused for a short time. It's going to be kind of neat to visit with them.
Cool.
So other things that are going on, well, cutting edge technology with AI, and this time I'm talking about artificial intelligence, not artificial insemination like we would have discussed yesterday with our vet, Dr. Emily Fox. So cutting edge AI has expertise in plant biology, and it's coming from a company called Heritable Ag, which works within Alphabet. That's Google's parent company. And what they are doing is at the start of 2025, they have officially launched an independent company that is aiming to partner with seed companies, large scale indoor producers, forestry nurseries, and they want to improve plant resilience and other desired traits. They realize that AI can help, especially in fruits and vegetables, to do an advancement in the traits such as flavors, achieving better outcomes, of growth and forestry, etc. So they're going to use AI to judge what some of this might be to help find the right varieties and the right techniques in order to improve plant biology. So when you hear new things happening every day, this is just yet one more little thing that's going on in the world around us.
Cool.
Also, farmers often say that, I hear about the new technology that's coming out, but I didn't necessarily get an input into it. Well, if you would like to, the AI Climate Institute at Cornell University is looking for your opinion. They are hosting focus groups. They are looking to find, a number of farmers to give their input, their experiences, and add their thoughts. I have the sign up link. If you are interested, you can email me, ag@flagfamily.com, and I'll send it to you. But again, it's the AI Institute at Cornell University. They want to hear what you are thinking, what works on the farm, what doesn't work, what should be considered, and how it could be considered differently. And they're actually going to pay you to participate. Doesn't have to be a large amount. It's a $20 gift card to be on these calls, and the calls are about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at the latest. So you would be paired up with farmers from around the country to give your thoughts. Never know when you might learn a few new things. So if you're interested in participating in those opportunities, let me know.
All right. And we've got Jerry on line one here. Jerry, you've got a question about the LRC real quick.
Yeah, looking at the LRC, what's the prognosis for late March or late April, early May? Like, if women gonna have to wear some long pants for prom instead of skimpy little dresses?
Instead of dresses.
That's a good question, Jerry. Well, actually, according to the LRC, our last potential freeze and or frost would be, and I've got it in my office, but I believe it was around April 15th to the 20th, right around that time frame. And then after that, we warm things up quickly. So the end of April should be warmer than normal.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Jerry. Yeah, in fact, we're putting together the rest of the spring and into early summer LRC calendar. We should have that up here within the next couple of weeks, and we'll be updating March and April's on there as well. So for Bridgette, myself, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Hey, don't go anywhere. Jay Thomas has got one of the best shows on tap for today. You don't want to miss it. He's coming up next.
WDAY